Imagine a sprawling industrial complex. I mean, a massive factory that runs 24/7. It never sleeps, never complains, and it's pumping out some of the most complex, absolutely vital chemicals on the planet. Now, you gotta ask yourself, who's actually doing the heavy lifting in a facility like that? Who are the most productive factory workers on Earth? Well, the answer might just blow your mind, because the workers operating this massive global assembly line, they're entirely invisible to the naked eye.
Today in this explainer, we are taking the ultimate biological factory tour. We're exploring the invisible factory of microbes in industry. And honestly, once you realize just how heavily our modern world relies on these microscopic laborers, it's going to completely change how you view modern medicine, agriculture, and literally the food sitting on your plate right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our factory floor plan for today. We'll start off in modern medicine, move right into agriculture, check out the food industries, step into the R&D wing to talk about strain upgrades, and then finish the whole shebang with a look at biosafety.
All right, before we look at what they actually build, we really need to clearly define our fundamental worker. In industrial biotechnology, the superstar is the microbial strain. Basically, this is a genetically distinct variant within a microbial species that has unique physiological and biochemical characteristics. To put it simply, it's a highly specialized microworker that is perfectly suited for a very specific industrial job.
Now, if we were going to write a job posting for this biological factory, the ideal worker profile is, well, it's pretty demanding. We are looking for high product yield and rapid growth. We need maximum efficiency here. They've got to have genetic stability, be easy to cultivate, and be super resistant to outside contamination. Ideally, they'd feed on really cheap substrates, be totally non-pathogenic, and, this is absolutely crucial, be amenable to genetic manipulation so we can tweak them to do their jobs even better. And hey, bonus points, they never ask for PTO or try to unionize.
Section 1. Modern Medicine. Welcome to the pharmaceutical factory.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer scale of natural biological warfare that we've essentially harnessed for our own survival. Remember Alexander Fleming's penicillin discovery back in 1928? He basically found a microbe that fights other microbes. Fast forward to today, and we've scaled that up to an unbelievable degree. Microorganisms like Penicillium and Streptomyces act as these massive biochemical factories, churning out industrial quantities of antibiotics like penicillin, streptomycin, and tetracycline. They're doing all the impossibly complex chemistry right there for us.
But, we can also teach them brand new tricks. Specific strains of E. coli and baker's yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, are now acting as literal living factories to manufacture recombinant human insulin for diabetes treatment. This was a massive game changer. It was the very first recombinant pharmaceutical ever approved for human use. Instead of extracting it from animals, we literally just handed the genetic blueprints to our microworkers and they built it for us. How cool is that?
And it goes beyond just making the final drugs. They also manufacture the tools to make those drugs. I'm talking about vital enzymes. You've got Bacillus subtili whipping up amylase and Candida rugosa churning out lipase. These are absolutely crucial, highly scalable components that are used constantly in drug manufacturing, therapeutics, and even in those diagnostic test kits you see at the doctor's office.
All right, let's leave the sterile labs for a bit and take our tour out to the fields. Section 2, Agriculture, featuring the microscopic farmers.
So our global crop yields heavily depend on nitrogen availability, right? Well, microbes happen to be the ultimate biofertilizers. We basically have two distinct types of laborers working the dirt here. On one hand, you have symbiotic bacteria like rhizobium. These guys form direct partnerships, literally living inside the plant roots to fix nitrogen. On the other hand, you have free-living bacteria, like Azotobacter, just hanging out independently in the soil, enriching it for the plants to soak up those nutrients.
And they don't just feed the plants, they actually protect them too. Enter Bacillus thuringiensis, or as it's widely known, BT. Instead of crop dusters spraying harsh, broad-spectrum chemical pesticides all over a field, BT acts as this highly targeted, totally eco-friendly biopesticide. It naturally produces these very specific crystal proteins called cryotoxins that act like a biological sniper to control insect pests without completely wrecking the wider ecosystem.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the food we eat every day. Section 3. Food Industries, the Invisible Kitchen.
You very likely eat the work of industrial microbes every single day of your life. They are hands down the hardest working, unpaid sous chefs in the world. I mean, Luca Nostok Mesenteroides makes idli.
Different strains of lactobacillus give us that perfectly distinct tang in sauerkraut and kimchi, and Aspergillus oryza, that's the master chef behind soy sauce. They process our food, they preserve it, and they generate these incredibly complex flavor profiles along the way.
But sometimes, we aren't just eating the products they make, we're eating the workers themselves. Probiotics are literally live health workers. Strains like Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus rhamnosus, and Bifidobacterium bifidum get right to work actively inside our GI tract. They improve gut health, enhance our immunity, and help prevent GI disorders. You are essentially hiring a microscopic health and safety team to live right inside your gut.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer nutritional power of these organisms. When we look at single-cell protein, which is essentially microbial biomass used directly as food, the numbers are staggering. Standard baker's yeast sits at an impressive 50% protein content, but spirulina, it packs a massive 65% protein. To put that in perspective, it represents a ridiculously rapid, highly sustainable food source that could genuinely feed the future. Now, as amazing as these natural workers are, human industry always demands more efficiency, right? So, let's step into the R&D wing. Section 4, Strain Upgrades. Upgrading the microworkers. Historically, to get better strains, we relied on classical methods, and honestly, this was essentially a massive two-step game of chance. Step 1 was mutation. You'd expose microbes to harsh mutagens, things like UV rays, gamma rays, or chemicals like EMS, just to scramble their genetics. Step 2 was selection. You'd sift through all those mutants, trying to isolate the rare few that had a higher product yield. It worked, sure, but it was incredibly tedious, slow, and totally unpredictable.
I want to slow down here for a second, because the shift to modern approaches, it is profound. We absolutely do not have to rely on random mutations anymore. Today, we utilize tools like CRISPR-Cas technology. This is a massive, and I mean massive, modern technological leap that allows for highly precise genome editing. We literally go in and rewrite the code, intentionally designing and enhancing the ultimate factory worker, tailored for very specific industrial applications. It's a total game changer.
But of course, with that kind of power comes immense responsibility. Which brings us to Section 5, Biosafety, the strict rules of the factory. So the crucial point is that ensuring these highly powerful microscopic factories remain safe and controlled, that is completely non-negotiable. Industrial strains have to strictly adhere to biosafety considerations. They absolutely must be non-pathogenic and environmentally safe. They must be genetically stable, because we really can't have engineered traits mutating wildly out in the wild. They have to be properly contained during mass commercial production, and the whole process is subject to rigorous international guidelines.
From the antibiotics that literally save our lives, to the nutrients enriching our soil, to the everyday food we eat, microbial strains are the undisputed, invisible engines driving modern biotechnology. But as our tools, like CRISPR, become incredibly precise, we're no longer just finding these workers out in nature. We are building them from scratch, which leaves us with a pretty profound thought to ponder. As we continue to engineer microscopic life to feed, heal, and fuel us, what limits will we set on the invisible factories of tomorrow?